All those stories about mysterious creatures we've been hearing since childhood?
The skeleton looked sort of human-like, only much bigger and a little stranger.
They might not be just myths.
Where the hell did you find that thing?
Archaeologists are digging deep, uncovering shocking truths about the past. Giant skeletons.
Holy cow, dude. That is not a bear.
Remains of legendary creatures.
Oh my god. Like a gargoyle. It's like a gargoyle.
And so much more.
What the is that?
Stick around to find out. Farm workers in the Midwest had their usual day turned upside down when they unearthed a skull unlike anything they'd ever seen. With a big hole in the middle of its forehead, it looked like the one-eyed Cyclops from myths. In the legends, Cyclopes are huge, fierce giants with one big eye in the middle of their skulls. Modern science says it's due to a rare birth defect called cyclopia that results in one eye socket, but it doesn't explain this giant, old fossil find. Were there really these enormous Cyclops monsters in the past, or did some mistook them for something else? Let me know what you guys think of this discovery. Bigfoot Skull.
Holy mackerel! Look at that!
That's not a bear skull.
Who knew marshes were hiding incredible treasures beneath their muddy surfaces, from ancient human remains to fascinating prehistoric creatures, and now, even the legendary Bigfoot. A lucky guy and his team stumbled upon a mysterious skull stuck in a bog. Initially thinking it was a bear skull, he carefully removed it from its resting place in the mud, and what he uncovered left everyone shocked. Eerily human-looking, with a small hole on one side, the skull has led some viewers to believe that Bigfoot indeed walked the earth. However real or not, these creatures sure have kept the enthusiast hooked.
Holy cow, dude. That is not a bear.
Peruvian Mummies. Peru has become famous for their bizarre mummy discoveries. Here, another startling find surfaced in the same area. A couple of odd-looking skeletons were unearthed. They were found in an unusual fetal position. After analysis, it was revealed that these beings once walked like us and were nearly our height. However, those were the only similarities, as the skeletons had 3-fingered hands and feet, along with oddly shaped skulls. As experts search for answers, the question remains: if these remains were extraterrestrials, then are we not actually alone in this universe? Extraterrestrial hand.
Hay dos metales, ¿no? Hemos visto, dos anillos de metal, dos anillas.
In Peru, researchers stumbled upon a find that has everyone talking. A bizarre hand with grayish-white skin and just 3 exceptionally long fingers. At first glance, it looked eerily human, but something about its structure seemed off. It had marks that seemed almost human, but they didn't feel natural, like they had been altered somehow. Whether by nature or by design is anyone's guess. As news of the discovery made its way online, people started speculation. Many were convinced this was undeniable proof of alien life, while skeptics argued it was a human hand that had undergone strange changes over time.
Este tipo de metal habría que ver qué tipo de metal es, que si se puede.
Giant skeleton. In a cave down in southern Thailand, someone stumbled on a discovery straight out of a myth. A massive human skeleton lying on its side, tangled up with what looks like the remains of a giant snake-like creature. The way the two are positioned makes it seem like they were locked in some epic struggle before meeting their end. And naturally, people are losing it over what this could mean. Some say it's just a clever cement sculpture, but others are convinced it's way too detailed to be a prop. So what's the deal? Ancient fight scene turned fossil, or someone's bizarre art project? Gargantuan creature. While cruising through Oahu, Hawaii, a man stumbled upon a chilling sight. A giant, prehistoric-looking skull nestled on a cliffside, surrounded by scattered bone fragments. Even from afar, it was obvious this thing belonged to a massive creature, easily towering over 10 feet tall in its prime. But the question is, what could have taken down something that big? Was it nature? Another predator, or something we can't even comprehend? And why has no one stepped in to investigate this bizarre find? Reptilian Remains. The reptilian theory has been around for ages, but it's always been dismissed as pure conspiracy. Well, that might change now because a bizarre piece of footage has surfaced on social media. The video shows what looks like reptilian remains displayed in a glass case. This thing had a buff, humanoid body paired with a terrifying, lizard-like face and missing an arm and a leg. It was preserved so well that you can make out all the tiny details. According to the uploader, it was unearthed in Egypt and is supposedly thousands of years old, suggesting that the reptilian connection isn't as far-fetched or recent as people think. Real or not, it's just one more thing to add to the endless mysteries surrounding ancient Egypt. Mega Warrior. Diving deep into the Pacific Ocean, a diver stumbled upon something truly mind-blowing. A massive war helmet thought to belong to the Nephilim, those legendary giants. This thing was huge, way bigger than the diver himself, hinting at its owner's insane strength. Some folks think this helmet was used in ancient battles, sparking wild theories that giants once roamed the earth. What makes it even more interesting is that the helmet looks like it's been submerged for millions of years. So, what's the story behind it? Where did it come from? And what happened to its giant owner? There's a lot to unpack with this one. Tied Mummy.
Y de un poblador, ¿no?, de la región altoandina.
A group of archaeologists working in an underground tomb at Cajamarquilla, near Lima, Peru, made a very odd discovery. A mummy that was estimated to be about 12,000 years old. Strangely, its entire body was tied up in ropes and had its hands covering its face. The discovery was a reflection of the local funeral customs of the pre-Inca civilization. They also found funerary offerings such as stone tools and ceramic pots. Although the site is pretty important historically, it has suffered damage from nearby cities. Sea Dragon.
The largest ichthyosaur skeleton ever found in Britain.
A few years back, a worker at Rutland Water Nature Park in the UK unexpectedly made an extraordinary find. While working, he noticed strange ridges in the mud and suspected something significant was buried there. When he contacted the experts, they revealed it wasn't a dinosaur, but the fossilized remains of an ichthyosaur, a sea reptile commonly known as a sea dragon that roamed the seas some 250 million years ago. What set this discovery apart was the immense size of the creature. Measuring a whopping 10 meters long, it stood as the largest and most intact prehistoric reptile skeleton ever unearthed in Britain.
It's made out of plaster of Paris so that we could lift it safely.
Now safely in storage.
Mysterious Skull.
They found her body intact, covered with gold ornaments and wearing this incredible golden headdress.
Back in 1926, an archaeologist made an amazing discovery in Ur, an ancient city in Iraq. He found a huge graveyard with thousands of graves, some belonging to people really far back in time. And to make the discovery truly interesting, they were filled with incredible treasures like gold statues and jewels. But the most mind-blowing discovery was a tomb belonging to someone who was probably really important. Only a skull left behind it was found wearing a crown, and its strange looks made people wonder if the skull was something other than human. Cyclops Cave. Out on an exploration trip in Wales, this guy stumbled upon the Cyclops Cave, one of Cape Greco's greatest secrets. Inside, there were all kinds of statues carved into the walls. One of them stood out the most due to its unusual features. The sculpture had a single eye on its head that seemed out of place. Another unusual figure was a ghost, carved posing in the shape of a crucifix. The disturbing thing about this one was that the skeletal bones looked too real, making you wonder if there was more to the cave than just stone carvings. Dating back to at least 5500 BC, The cave's very old, leading us to the big question: what could have inspired these strange figures so early in time? Dino Bone. In 2019, paleontologists in the south of France stumbled upon something that left the scientific community absolutely stunned: a giant dinosaur thigh bone. The discovery happened during an excavation at a site known for yielding massive dinosaur fossils. Turns out, this bone belonged to a sauropod, those huge, long-necked, plant-eating dinosaurs that once roamed the Earth. The team wasted no time and sent the fossil off to the lab for further analysis, eager to learn more about this massive creature. It's one of those finds that makes you stop and wonder about the creatures that walked the Earth long before us. Redhaired Giants.
In 1911, giant bones were found in Lovelock Cave. Large human skulls and skeletons that measured between 7 and 8 feet in height.
Back in 1911, two miners made an unexpected discovery in the Lovelock Cave. They found numerous unidentified remains, some of which were abnormally large. And one of the strangest things about this discovery was that 4 large skulls were found with red hair. There were also unusually sized artifacts in the cave as well. Sandals, tea, hat were 15 inches long, which would fit someone who was at least 9 feet tall, and even a giant piece of clothing. If you're still having doubts, there's also a local legend that proves their existence.
The strange thing is that many of the artifacts were huge. Like, you have giant-sized sandals, like a 15-inch long shoe.
Evidence of giants.
This is from an 18-foot person, estimated.
For centuries, historians have been obsessed with the idea of finding evidence of ancient giants roaming our planet. Their hopes were finally answered when they found traces that indicated their presence in Turkey. Near what they believed to be the dwelling of Noah, a few pieces of human bones were found. Only these weren't any regular bones, but extraordinarily large. The toe bone, almost the size of a child's hand, was believed to belong to an 18-foot person. While this is definitely shocking, take a look at these finger bones, which turned out to be almost 3 times larger than a regular human being's. Could this be actual evidence of Nephilim existence, or just an elaborate hoax? Your guess is as good as mine.
We're out at the village where we believed Noah's house.
2 in 1.
You know, this was a unique and unusual discovery because a Tyrannosaur skeleton with prey items preserved inside the stomach region had never been found.
If you're a dinosaur enthusiast, then this one is going to blow your mind. Back in 2009, a smaller type of Tyrannosaur was discovered near Brooks, Alberta. After years of testing and researching, experts found something extraordinary. Bones of another animal were found inside the stomach of the Tyrannosaur, making it the first time such discovery was made. They found intact leg bones from small bird-like dinosaurs called centipes, meaning the Tyrannosaur's diet included younger prey. This discovery was considered very important as it offered knowledge about the hunting and feeding habits of Tyrannosaurs.
And it's while he was cleaning up the fossil, he noticed those little toe bones that were coming out of the rib cage.
Mummified pets.
People who love their pets wanted the pets with them in their afterlife. And so you wind up saying, okay, when I die or after I die, bury my pet with me.
Imagine keeping your pets forever. A farmer recently stumbled upon some surprisingly well-preserved mummified animals, and it got everyone talking. Now, if you're thinking, why on earth would anyone mummify their pets? Let me spill the tea. This isn't a new thing. The ancient Egyptians were all about honoring their furry and not so furry friends. Turns out it wasn't just about love. They believed pets could follow them into the afterlife. These mummified animals, especially sacred ones like cats, were seen as living symbols of the gods and held deep religious meaning. Some were even buried alongside their owners in pet cemeteries or ritual sites.
Of animal mummy are food mummies or victual mummies. The ancient Egyptians believed that you can take everything with you.
Petrified snake. In Thailand, there's something lurking that'll make you think twice about your travel plans. A giant petrified snake, or at least that's what some believe. Let me break it down. It's called the Naga Cave, or Snake Cave, nestled in Bangkan Province. The entire cave has the shape of a colossal serpent, coiled and resting as if frozen in time. It's so detailed that you'd think it took a lifetime to carve. Tourists flock to see it, with some convinced it's the fossilized remains of an ancient snake. Others think it's man-made, though honestly, creating something that massive seems like a stretch. Scientists suggest it's a natural formation caused by thermal expansion and erosion. Still, looking at it, you can't help but feel there's more to the story. Giant footprint.
There's the big toe, and the other 4 toes down to the small toe.
There are many theories that suggest the existence of giant human beings, but without any solid evidence, they're just speculation. However, with a shocking discovery, that's all about to change. With a footprint this huge, set in stone, it's hard not to believe that Nephilim once existed here on Earth. Found in South Africa, the print was set in granite and is considered the footprint of God due to its humongous size. People have even started leaving valuables like coins to celebrate the remarkable discovery. Experts around the world were shocked and have been hard at work to find more about it.
And I see that people have been visiting here because they've been leaving little coins here.
Giant's tooth.
We take a closer look at this thing. We're dumbstruck. It's a tooth.
Back in the 1930s, a bizarre discovery was made in Steelville when a giant skeleton, measuring over 8 feet long, was allegedly found in a cave. But the whole incident was shrouded in mystery. Fast forward to 2014, when 2 scientists decided to dig a little deeper in those very caves. As they sifted through the debris, something unusual caught their eye. A white object peeking out from the rubble. Upon closer inspection, they realized it was a tooth. Not just any tooth, but a huge one. They quickly speculated that it might belong to an ancient, oversized human. The internet was abuzz with speculation, but skeptics weren't so quick to jump to conclusions, suggesting the tooth should undergo proper testing before anyone could claim it as definitive proof.
A deer, a cow. We're 70 feet up in a shelter kit.
Ancient Centaur. What if centaurs weren't just mythical creatures, but actual beings that walked the earth thousands of years ago? Almost unbelievable, but some people were almost convinced when a bizarre discovery went viral online. The University of Tennessee supposedly had what looked like the remains of a centaur on display, an ancient creature with the upper body of a human attached to the body of a horse. The skeleton appeared fully intact, eerily resembling the mythical centaurs from Greek folklore. The story went that it had been unearthed at an excavation site in Greece, sparking a frenzy of speculation. But soon enough, the mystery was solved when someone from the university confirmed that it wasn't a real discovery, but an elaborate art piece. Alien skull. Take a look at this. An alien skull? Or something even weirder? A boy in Peru stumbled across this strange-looking skull near a cave entrance, and it's got everyone buzzing. At first, people thought it was just a clever hoax, maybe the handiwork of a skilled local craftsman. But then things got a little spooky. The skull has carvings, yes, actual carvings, that seem to tell a story. And here's the wild part. Right above the eyebrows, there's what looks like a third eye, a symbol that pops up in Buddhist teachings and ancient myths. The base of the skull looks almost petrified. Locals have their theories too, with some suggesting it could belong to an ancient, superior race. Megalodon Tooth.
Todos los animales actuales, toda la diversidad, son el resultado de millones.
In Chile's Atacama Desert, scientists have made a startling discovery. Buried deep in the sand were remains of Earth's largest known predator. The Megalodon Tooth, bigger than the size of a fist, makes one wonder at its actual size. If you are puzzled by the location it was found in, experts believe that the desert was once largely submerged beneath the Pacific Ocean, making it a site rich in fossils. Another prized find from the same region was the massive jaw of the prehistoric shark species that has left the world of archaeology awestruck.
Porque se piensa que es lo que tenemos
Massive thumb. A group of Turkish archaeologists claim to have finally found evidence of giant human beings. While excavating a site on Mount Ararat, they happened upon a human thumb bone that was much larger than a regular one. One of the scientists compared it to his one thumb, showing off its huge size. As news of the discovery spread online, people started coming up with all sorts of theories. Many believed it was connected to the possible discovery of Noah's Ark on Mount Ararat, suggesting that such a huge boat couldn't have been built by ordinary humans. But with the authorities staying silent, some are wondering if there's a cover-up in the works. Bizarre hand. An anonymous video making rounds online has people scratching their heads, and maybe feeling a little creeped out. It shows what looks like a bizarre hand with red strings sprouting from 3 outstretched fingers, while the other 2 are carefully wrapped in cloth. Scientists have no idea where this thing came from or what it even is. Some folks online are convinced it could have belonged to an ancient warrior, but without any official findings, it's all just theories for now. So, what's the story behind this eerie relic? Is it a forgotten piece of history or something stranger? For now, the mystery stays unsolved. Cardiff Giant. Now let's go all the way back to October 16th, 1869, when workers in Cardiff, New York, unearthed a massive 10-foot stone figure. People thought it was a petrified giant from ancient times, and was proof of the biblical mention of giants. Named the Cardiff Giant, this stone figure was put on display and quickly became famous. However, it was later revealed that the Cardiff Giant was just a statue, crafted by a man named George Hull. Hull created it to show how easily people could be tricked. Today, the Cardiff Giant rests at the Farmers Museum in Cooperstown, New York, for everyone to see. Petrified Croc. This one's a tough nut to crack. A viral video recently surfaced showing a gigantic croc, and what's mind-blowing is that even its eyes are preserved. The creature looked like it had turned to stone, almost as if it stared at Medusa herself. Some folks were quick to claim it was just a carving in the mountainside. Too perfect to be real, right? But others pointed out how lifelike it seemed, leaving them to wonder if this petrified croc could be proof that giant reptiles once roamed the earth. Let me know your take on this. Prehistoric Beast. While hiking through the dense, mysterious woods of the Amazon, one adventurer stumbled upon something truly mind-blowing. There, partially embedded in rock and overtaken by the relentless grip of nature, was the skeleton of a massive creature. Its jaw was wide open, frozen in what almost looked like a silent scream. But the craziest part? It didn't resemble anything that we'd recognize as a modern animal. A few experts who came across the footage speculated it could be a prehistoric creature, possibly a dinosaur. Some even said it looked like a distant relative of the crocodile. Who knows? Maybe there's a whole side of the ancient world that we've yet to uncover. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Mummified Goblin. What if goblins actually existed, and that part of our history just got lost somewhere? A team of researchers stumbled upon a carcass so bizarre, it seemed ripped straight out of folklore. When the footage hit the internet, people couldn't stop debating. Some were convinced it was proof of goblins, while others insisted it looked more like a werewolf. The mysterious creature had features that defied any known explanation, leaving everyone scratching their heads. Honestly, I'm leaning toward the goblin theory. It's just too weird to be anything ordinary. And there's more. Remains of a strange, tiny creature were found in a warehouse in Mexico, and many believe it could only be one thing: a goblin fetus. The specimen is preserved in a grotesque, twisted position, with half of its face seemingly missing, making it nearly impossible to identify. Some are convinced it's proof of mythical creatures existing, while skeptics argue it could be a malformed animal or even a hoax. Rhino Horn. It's not just ancient ruins or excavation sites revealing secrets of the past. Drying water bodies are also stepping up, showcasing incredible remnants from history. Take this jaw-dropping discovery, for instance, a massive prehistoric rhinoceros horn found near a shrinking river in a remote part of Russia. This colossal relic, measuring several feet, is believed to be millions of years old. While mammoth tusks and skulls often steal the spotlight, rhino remains like this are just as rare and valuable. Sadly, not all finds make it to museums. Some fall into the hands of ivory hunters, while others are preserved by paleontologists willing to safeguard these priceless relics. Giant finger. In 1988, a Swiss club owner visited Egypt and met a farmer who showed him a mummified finger measuring 13.8 inches. He claimed it had been passed down by his ancestors. Experts suggested the finger belonged to someone 16 to 19 feet tall. The farmer also presented documents, including an X-ray, which seemed to confirm its authenticity. While some believe it's evidence of giants, others argue it could be a case of gigantism or a hoax. Best preserved dino. Back in 2011, northern Alberta became the site of one of the coolest dino discoveries ever. A heavy equipment operator at the Millennium Mine stumbled upon what he thought was a weirdly patterned rock. But when he looked closer, he realized it wasn't just a rock. It was fossilized skin. Turns out it belonged to a nodosaur, a type of armored dinosaur related to the ankylosaur. And this wasn't just any fossil. This 18-foot-long, 3,000-pound creature still had its armor and skin intact, so well preserved that it looked like it could wake up at any moment. Scientists believe it met its end near a river, floated out to sea, and then sank, where it fossilized in near-perfect condition. Fossilized Dragon Egg. What if dragons weren't just myths, but creatures frozen in time by some ancient curse? Sounds out of this world, right? But here's some shocking news. Explorers have reportedly unearthed what they claim to be a petrified dragon egg. Yeah, you heard that right. A dragon egg. The discovery has people buzzing, with some wondering if scientists might actually try to wake it up. Imagine the chaos if they did. Are we looking at the start of a real-life Jurassic Park, but with fire-breathing beasts instead of dinosaurs? Of course, not everyone's convinced. While some are hailing it as proof dragons existed, others are rolling their eyes and saying, it's just a fancy prop. So, what's your take? Shocking discovery. In Australia, researchers stumbled upon a jaw-dropping find, a 95-million-year-old crocodile fossil named Confractosuchus saurochtonos. This ancient predator is rewriting what we thought we knew about crocodile evolution, and even scientists were left stunned. Measuring around 4 meters long, this prehistoric croc was impressive enough, but here's where things get even wilder. On its back were tiny, mummified hatchlings. Talk about a discovery within a discovery. This rare find not only paints a vivid picture of life back then, but also raises questions about how these predators lived and cared for their young. Petrified Giant. While traveling through a quiet road in Iran, some travelers stumbled upon something that left them speechless. A massive figure perched on the hillside, its eyes seemingly staring straight at them. Those who witnessed it firsthand were convinced they'd found a petrified giant. They quickly recorded the sight and shared it online, leading to heated debates. Some skeptics argued it was just an unusual rock formation or an ancient carving, but plenty of others theorized about evidence of giants, saying it looked far too lifelike to be a coincidence. What do you think? A natural phenomenon? An old carving? Or proof that giants might have roamed the earth? Whale Lake. Out in the barren Amaro mining site, where you'd think there's nothing but endless sand and rock, lies an unexpected twist. A place called Whale Lake. Sounds ordinary, but here's where it gets wild. Just beneath the lake's northern edge, researchers stumbled upon something extraordinary. a massive mineral deposit known as whale tail, stretching over a staggering 1.2 kilometers and diving 350 meters deep. This hidden treasure is like nature's secret stash buried under a desert lake. This isn't just any discovery. It's the kind that turns a seemingly lifeless desert into a hot spot for adventure. Giant tools. A startling discovery was made during the excavation of the Tomio Maruyama burial mound. It was a massive sword measuring almost 8 feet, but the experts suspect it was originally 9 foot long. The internet was abuzz with speculation, as netizens believed it was enough proof of the existence of giants, while others suggested it could be a ceremonial blade. A sword wielded by Nephilim, or a decorative piece? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Mammoth Bones. Two fossil hunters were out diving in a Floridian river when their search turned into a discovery of a lifetime. One of the divers spotted a strange, bone-like object. As he brought it up, he realized that it was the shoulder bone of a mammoth. The fossil was so heavy that he could barely hold it up. Even after being submerged in water for so long, the bone was mostly intact, remarkably retaining its original shape. The hunters believed further excavations at the site would unearth the entire remains of the animal. Another similar discovery was made by an explorer in Siberia. While scouting the river, he stumbled upon a massive tusk weighing almost 200 pounds, belonging to a mammoth that roamed the area millions of years ago. To his surprise, he also discovered the fossilized skull of the same animal some feet ahead. Proudly, the fossil hunter presented both specimens for display in a museum.
Solid. It is a crazy bone. It's so heavy, it's hard to hold, honestly, so.
Pompeii ruins. In a truly chilling discovery, archaeologists digging in Pompeii have uncovered the remains of 2 men who were tragically frozen in time during the eruption of Mount Vesuvius in 79 AD. What makes this discovery even more haunting is that scientists were able to create plastic casts from the voids left in the volcanic ash, revealing the exact positions and details of the men. One is believed to be a wealthy man in his 30s or 40s, while the other, much younger, possibly a servant or enslaved person, was around 18 to 25 years old. The real mystery remains. Were they trying to escape when the eruption hit, or did they choose to stay behind? Dinosaur Remains. Paleontologists have found the remains of the largest animal to have ever walked the Earth. In 2012, in the Neuquén province of Patagonia, Argentina, they stumbled upon 98 million years old fossilized remains of a dinosaur. The massive bones belong to a Titanosaur, the last surviving group of the long-necked sauropods. The creature is thought to be 20% bigger than the Apatogodontid, previously known to be the biggest dinosaur ever found, weighing 70 tons. More work needs to be done before experts estimate the weight of this giant Titanosaur. Nephilim Ring. Archaeologists just stumbled upon something that's rewriting history. A massive ring, big enough to cover a whole fist, discovered deep in a quarry. This isn't your average jewelry find. The intricate carvings on it are estimated to date back 13,000 years. Now, if the ring is this massive, you've got to wonder, how big was the creature that wore it? The discovery has sparked all kinds of theories. Some say it's solid proof giants once walked the Earth. Others are fixated on a strange dial on the side, suggesting it could have been more than just a piece of jewelry. Maybe even some kind of ancient technology. Open discussion.
Logan! Oh my goodness!
This one's straight out of a cryptid hunter's dream. A couple of fossil hunters were digging around in the woods near their vacation cabin when they stumbled upon something huge and a bit terrifying. At first, they thought they'd uncovered the bones of a large animal, but they soon realized what they'd found was far more bizarre. The skeletal remains of a massive rib cage, which, to their shock, looked strange. A human in shape, and it was nearly as big as half the guy's body. Once the video of their discovery went viral, things went wild. Some people jumped on the theory that they'd uncovered the remains of Bigfoot, while others went even further, suggesting these bones could belong to the legendary Nephilim. However, the authenticity of the video remains debated, with many calling it staged. Thank you very much for watching the video. Do like and share it with your friends. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to not miss any of the upcoming amazing videos. Thank you once again.